One of the biggest disappointments with gold last year was that it wasn't acting as a safe haven. But as we headed towards the end of 2018, this started to change. And I think certainly the rally that we've seen the last couple of months does indicate that gold is starting to reassert its safe haven status against a backdrop of a weaker or a pause in the dollar strength, the backdrop of weaker equities and lower rates.
So, Joni, as we talk about the gold trade, like you mentioned, last year it was not a beneficiary of some of the safe haven buying. Has gold become, or does gold remain one of the best precious metals to be in, or are there other opportunities outside of gold?
From a macro perspective, I think gold is attractive, especially as investors start to consider, the cycle continuing to mature and the prospects of moving into the later stage of the cycle. But in terms of fundamentals, I think another precious metal that has actually attracted a lot of attention last year was palladium. So supply and demand fundamentals for palladium are very strong, and that has been well reflected in prices. Also, it does benefit, I mean, the whole precious metals complex does get spillover benefits from gold strength. But yeah, from a macro perspective, I would say that gold is probably sort of the key precious metals to watch.
So Joni, as we talk about, many times I've been given the opportunity perhaps to buy or sell, gold coins, right? As people look at some of how these precious metals markets operate, the tangible thing that some investors can buy are coinage. Silver is probably more accessible than gold for many people out there. Should people be out there looking at silver as a possible alternative if they don't want to pay the kinds of per ounce prices that gold commands?
Silver is quite interesting. I mean, its performance last year was basically, it got caught between gold's relatively range-bound price action for most of the year. But at the same time, it has had been influenced by the performance of industrial metals. At the end of the day, demand for silver comes mostly from industrial applications. So it does tend to track what's going on in base metals as well. But in a scenario where you see gold continuing to strengthen, and especially if that also, you do see bouts of risk sentiment starting to improve, then silver can perform quite well, particularly because it has underperformed quite a lot last year. This could attract some sort of catch-up trades from investors.